be a reliable, uninterrupted power supply, be able to pass the post condition. The user must not cancel the process. This then takes us to the use case diagram, that is identifying the interactions. I have to my left the technician, the administrator. To my right, I have the user itself. The user's functions or interactions with the system will be: 1, to buy the gas; 2, to check price; 3, check balance on card; and 4, buy some accessories. And the technician's interaction with the system will be repairing of the pump. Later, I gathered things like reconciling with the system as well. Then the administrator will interact with the system through setting up the pump mechanism or the pump system. I made a system mistake here. It's supposed to be pump. So then I think this becomes this takes us to the end of my presentation.
All right. So do you guys have questions? So at the end of the presentations, if you guys have questions for him, you guys should be able to ask him, and then he should be able to explain to you guys why this action is triggering, this set of behavior, etc., etc.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Reed. Yeah, I wanted to have a clarification on what you meant by the accessories, the buying of the accessories.
Yeah, usually these machines, they are usually mounted or installed in next to supermarkets. Okay, so I thought for convenience sake, the system could be set up in a way that can also allow or have a part that will enable the user to probably buy a drink or buy a snack. That's make an order for a snack. So the card will then be used, would be debited, and then the item can be ejected, just for convenience sake.
Okay, I think I get where you're going with it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, greetings, Reed.
Greetings, boss.
Yeah. Can you scroll down a little bit? Okay. I think page 4. Let's page 4 center.
The main flow.
Yeah, I wanted to verify something in the main flow. So he said the main flow. This is can you explain what the main flow means in itself?
Yeah, okay, so the main flow, in my understanding here, will be the sequence of activities that must occur for the use case to be successful, as in to start and then to end successfully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the last main flow, it says else gas keeps pumping. So, and I think from the 9, it says if amount discharged is equal to amount entered, gas flow ceases. So, like, I want you to just hit on that, the 9 or 10 a little bit more.
Okay, so over there is a conditional, is a conditional check, as in if the amount requested by the person, if the system has enough gas to match at least the amount requested, then the gas will flow. But if if the persons, you see the gas is flowing. So if as it flows, it calculates, okay, it checks against the persons, the amount the person has entered. So assuming you're buying 500 cedis of gas, okay, it keeps checking as it's flowing, it's checking against the amount. The moment it hits the amount, it stops. If it doesn't hit the amount or it's not equal, the amount of gas flowing is not equal to the amount entered by the user, okay, it will be flowing until it hits or it becomes equal, then it stops. Over there, that's 9 and 10. I think I can do some extra work on that, make it to clarify or to make it meaningful.
Okay, but I wanted to just like get more understanding. You see, if like maybe I want to purchase 500 cedis, you see, and like I would there would be a system or a particular place where I put the money, or like I give the money or put the money into the system, right? So if I'm purchasing 500 cedis and I input, when I'm going to input the figures for that 500, and maybe I do it 550 or 600 cedis. Like how would the system interact with that?
So this is what happens if you enter an amount. The system would then request for confirmation. When you confirm, then it means you truly mean to go forward with the transaction, and then it proceeds with the pump of gas.
Okay. Because I wanted to clarify the last two and through the question, so I think I'm okay now. But I like the way you've made the alternative flows. It's very precise and concise. You can understand it even by reading it. So you did a good job there.
Thank you very much. Thanks for critiquing my work.
You're welcome.
Hello. Anyone else with questions, please?
Hello, Reed.
Yes,
Yeah. I'm trying to think, I think when Salim asked about aspect of your machine being able to dispense accessories. I think it's a good thing, but I've been trying to find that and the same that's machine distance.
hello, Mr. Lavi. I'm having some disturbances in the line. I know this is my end.
Could you hear me better?
Yeah, I think I heard this, but still the disturbance persists. Mr. Labi.
I think
okay,
he left.
Reed, can I come in?
Again.
Okay, please come in then.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, I hope you can hear me well.
Yeah, that's Abokwamo. I can hear you. It's clear.
All right. I like your presentation. I mean, It's simple and precise. The current view, the main flow.
Yes.
I don't know if it is an error or that's how you want it to be done. But when I look through, I can see that there is no point where any card is inserted, but a card is ejected.
So okay, looking through is chooses payment mode and enters amount. System checks it. Yeah, you are right. You are right. The truth is, this job was done in haste. This it was done in haste. So there were a few things that were missed. You bringing it up, I'll definitely put it in there.
Okay, so it's an omission.
I'll put it so, yes.
Okay, all right. Then another thing, what did I even see? Where the session expires. Remember a part where the session expires up there.
Where the session expires, that's true.
Yes, yes. There's a part where you wrote, I think it's up. If you can kindly scroll up a little bit.
No, that will be here, somewhere here.
Are you sure? It's not here. I think it's yeah.
This one.
The
Yeah.
exceptional flow. Yes. All right. I don't know. This is what I'm just thinking. I've been pondering over it. In recent times, when you are using any electronic mode of payment, anything, I know in the past, the session, like there's a period for a session to expire. But I've realized that sometimes it is only when you decide to cancel the transaction. Yes, then your system, the session expires. Because sometimes, for instance, maybe I bought 200 cedis and then I finished and I realized that maybe I was trying to fill my tank. I don't know how much is going to fill it. Then I buy maybe 150. Then I realized that 150 is not enough. So after that, my session has expired. The card must be ejected. Then I insert again and then do the whole transaction again. But I was thinking that maybe if I bought an amount and then, like you say, and then I want to do another transaction, maybe when I have finished everything, then I can end the whole transaction other than ejecting and inserting and then doing, or what do you think? I was just thinking.
I do see reason in part of what you're saying, in that you are still in the process, okay? You are still in the transaction. So the system, okay, should not cease or should not expire your transaction. That's a session. It's okay. This flow, as you see, affects sessions that are probably beyond, let's say, 30 minutes. That's extreme. Probably I can make I can put more explanation on it, okay? Because we're looking at extreme situations, 30 minutes beyond. That then means the person is not around. And I mean, no one can hang around for 30 minutes. Yeah. But then I'm going to see what I can do to at least factor in your input, your suggestion.
Okay, I think I understand. I was looking at it from an ATM point of view. When you are withdrawing money from the ATM, after I withdraw, it asks me if I want to do another transaction. I want to end the transaction. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. But that's
true.
There should also be a point where, like, the system is not active, hoping that somebody maybe the person has collapsed and something, so it should be able to move on to another one. So I think I get it. That's fine.
That's kind of you. Thanks a lot, sir. Hello.
Okay, let's go to the next person.
Okay, good morning, guys. Let me start sharing my screen. Okay, good morning, guys. This is my presentation for the elevator use case. So first off, I tried to identify the actors of the use case, and it seemed that I was, as far as this work was concerned, I was able to identify the user, and basically the subsystem is he needs to go to a floor. So that is what the objective is. So the user wants to get to a floor. So to get to a floor, these are the steps, the basic steps that he would go through. He would have to enter the elevator. He needs to input the floor number, basically. And then then the elevator would need to get to that floor, then it stops. And then the user would exit the elevator. So that's just the basic description of what the user intends to achieve with the use case. So yeah, as an actor. So this is how the use case is. So first, the primary actor is the user. And the objective or the summary is that the user is trying to get to a floor. So this use case is going to describe the steps that the user takes in order to access a particular floor in the building. So the precondition is that the elevator at the moment is not malfunctioning, nor is there any electricity or power issues. So these are the two conditions that the preconditions that the elevator must meet for us to begin this use case. And so the main flow, which is a success scenario, that is the user attains what he's trying to achieve, that is get to a particular floor. So the first thing is that the user has to go to where the elevator door is, where the elevator door is in the building. And then they have to press the call elevator button, which will be at the elevator door. So once they press that button, the system would add the user's floor to the list of next stops. That is the elevator. The system will have a list of next stops where the elevator has to stop. So it would add that floor to the list of next stops. And so the elevator would run through its cycle and get to the pressed floor at the step one. So once that button has been added to the list of next stop, the elevator would then stop at that floor once it goes through its cycle. That is accounting for the fact that maybe other users have also pressed the elevator button at other floors, which may be closer to where the elevator is. So basically, the elevator will stop at the user's floor, which has been added to the list of next stops. And then the user's floor would then be removed from the list of next stops so that the elevator doesn't have to stop at that floor again, because that's already achieved that purpose. And so the next is that the elevator door would then open for the user to step in. When they step in, the elevator door closes. And then the user has to input his desired destination floor. So the first was to call the elevator button. Now that they've entered, they need to tell the elevator which floor they want to get to. So once they input that floor into the elevator, they press that button, the system will add that floor number to the system's list of next stop, so that the elevator knows, okay, when I get to this floor, I have to stop so that the user can get out. So now the elevator will then move, and when it arrives at that floor which has been inputted by the user, it will stop. And so when it stops there, the user has that floor, as usual, would be removed from the list of next stops, so that the elevator knows that it no longer has to stop there unless another user presses that button again. So yeah, basically the elevator will stop at that floor, the elevator door will open, and then the user will get out, and then yeah, the use case would end. That's basically the idea. So the alternative flow to this main scenario is that the first is that if at step 1, that is when the user presses the call elevator button, if the elevator stays, if the user presses the call elevator button, and then the user does not press anything, that does not press. Okay, so the idea was that if no user presses the elevator button, the alternative flow is that if no user presses the call elevator button, the elevator will just be in standby mode. It will not be moving up and down the floors. It will just be in standby mode, waiting for the user to press a button. So basically the use case would just remain ended at that particular flow. So the second is that if at step 8 of the main flow, the user does not put in any input and there are no floors in a list of next stops, so that is at step 8, that is where the user is asked to input their destination floor. So if they choose not to input any floor and like that, they're just standing in the elevator undecisive, what happens is that the elevator door will open after 3 minutes of the user not inputting any destination floor inside the elevator. And then after the 3 minutes, it will close again. And then it would wait for, it would just be in standby mode for the user to press a button. So yeah, so that's the idea. So maybe if the user decides to just stay inside the elevator, I think that should have also been captured. Maybe the door will remain open until the user gets out. But basically, it will just be in standby mode because it has achieved its purpose of getting to the floor, and there's no next floor in it. So after 3 minutes, it opens for the user to get out. After 3 minutes, it just goes back into standby mode. After that 3 minutes, so in 6 minutes of no inputs. The next is that at the 8th step, that's the same step. If the elevator door opens for 3 minutes, and each time after the 3 minutes, if the user inputs the current floor again, the elevator door will open for another 3 minutes. That is, in case maybe the user wants to wait for somebody. That's the idea here. So basically, they've entered the elevator, but they just want the elevator door to stay open so that somebody can quickly come and join him in the elevator. So he just has to press the floor he's at again. And so once he presses that, the elevator door would open again for 3 minutes. Afterwards, it will close for him to input the destination location. The fourth is that, so there are already stops added to the next stops list by another user already in the elevator. Then at step 8 of the main flow, the user can choose not to make an input, but continue on the flow of the already existing user. That is, let's say the user gets in, but the floor they are trying to get to, another user has already pressed the button. So they don't have to press another button. They can just follow along in the elevator. And when that user gets, the other user who was already in the elevator gets to that floor, they can just get out. That's the idea. So the next is the exception flow. So the exception flow, that is things that are exceptional to the main flow. So the first is that the elevator was already on an upward path, and the user below pressed the elevator button, the call elevator button, and then so basically the elevator was going upwards because users above have already pressed the call elevator button, or they've already inputted the destination floor above. So the elevator is already in a current upward movement. So it has to finish all the upward movements, which would end at the 20th floor. After that, it then changes its direction downwards and makes its way to the user's floor. And then the main flow would continue just as step 4. So basically, they just have to wait for the elevator to finish its current list of steps before it would come backwards to their direction. And the second is the opposite of this. If it was going in a downward direction and the user was above and then pressed the the button. So basically the elevator would have to go through its list of stops downwards. When it's done, then it goes upwards to get the user to their floor. So the post condition is the main flow. After the main flow has occurred and there are no more stops in the list of next stops, then the elevator goes on standby mode at the ground floor. So basically, if every user has gotten out, the elevator has gotten everybody to their desired destination floor, and there's no more stops. Basically, the elevator would then go downwards to the ground floor and then be in standby mode until another user calls for it to use it. And I think that is all for my use case scenario. Thank you. I think I can receive critiques and questions now.
Colin.
Yes.
Did you have any flows on emergency? I was looking to. Is there
emergencies?
Like yes.
No. So the idea is that the elevator is not malfunctioning or there's no power issues. So that is the preconditions of this particular use case. So that there were no emergency situations here.
Okay. So in case somebody is in the elevator and then is going upward, and then maybe the person, there is no emergency button in case of anything. Okay.
Yeah, maybe that could be an improvement I could add later on. So thanks for the point.
Okay, I asked because myself I've been involved in a similar situation before. So
so basically what does the emergency button do?
Okay, so the one I used some time ago at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I was there and then there was somebody who was not feeling very well. I don't know, but we were quite about 7 people. So there was this red button that they said that is for me. So we pressed on it, but actually nothing really happened, honestly. But I'm thinking that I think I've seen some like outside where when there's an emergency in the elevator, they press on the elevator, they press on the button, which I think it stops at the next floor, immediately stops at the next floor or something, because there's an emergency or something. I mean, inside the elevator.
Okay. Because I don't really get the idea of the emergency button. I'll just try and do some research on it. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
And I'm also looking at your point 2, where the elevator have to open for 3 minutes, and
that is the alternative flow.
Yes, no, yeah, alternative flow 2.
Okay.
And the elevator have to wait for 3 minutes for whoever want to enter and stuff like that. I've not seen anything like a sensor in your presentation where probably the system or the sensor should detect that somebody is closer a certain minute, a certain distance, and for it to wait instead of waiting for 3 minutes. That's a lot.
Yeah, usually, from what I know, the elevators don't have sensors for people outside because probably maybe somebody could just be passing by. He may not want to use the elevator, but that could also be something that could be added. I think what I should have probably added would have been a sensor to detect if somebody is inside the elevator so that the elevator makes sure that the person actually gets out. But I think that's also a good point, and I'll try and consider that. Yeah. Any more questions or suggestions?
Yes, can I insert your diagram?
Sorry. Salim, I was just gonna chip in about the emergency button. You know how like in a car you have a brake? In the elevator, the emergency button is kind of similar to the brakes. Like, should the elevator experience any mechanical issues, you just hit the emergency button and then it's gonna drop you off at the like the next floor. So that's why like they incorporate emergency buttons in elevators, because it's a machine. It can fail at any time. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Good point. I think somebody else wanted to say something before Penelope.
Yes, I was looking at your diagram again.
Which of them? The first one.
The one for the elevator. Yeah.
This one or the okay, this one.
Okay. Okay, so you have only one actor.
I have only one. Yeah, there's only one actor. Yes, there's only one actor.
That's fine. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, Salim.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to verify why there's one actor alone.
Yes. So at the time, the thing is, I don't know. I was a bit. I don't know. I kept seeing different points of view to the use cases on the elevator, where the actor you are focusing on is the one that is represented. And so, so basically I was looking at that point where I'm focusing on the actual actors' interaction. So maybe from some of what I could see, it gave me the idea that if there was some interaction with other actors, then those actors would be included so that you can know that, okay, the main actor, there is some interactions with the other actors. So in that direction, because that was the idea I got. Yeah, at the moment, that was the idea when I was doing this particular work. So that's the reason why I have only one actor, because I see that with him trying to achieve his main objective, there's no other interactions with other actors. So that is the reason why I went with this particular structure.
Okay. But just to add up to your understanding, I think with the actors, we have 2 actors, or it could be more, if I'm mistaken. But I think
yes, because from what I could see, there were more. In some cases, there were more actors. Yeah. And some there were less. So I think it also has to do with exactly what you're trying to achieve with the use case. At least that's what the understanding I got. But if you can add others from your point of view, so that I could add to mine.
Okay, so I think the primary actor would be the user. Here, the primary actor would first be the user, and the secondary actor would be the maintenance man, or the person who would be handling it or something like that. So the person who would be the maintenance guy who would be repairing the elevator, because it's a machine. It doesn't stay active or fully functional forever. It would have some glitches or problems here and there. Maybe the elevator door closes and doesn't want to open, and it's not working. So I think the secondary actor would be the maintenance person, or any the repair guy or something like that. That's what I wanted to add.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. But anyways, your work is very good. Like by reading it, you can understand. Just like like you can really understand the whole concept behind it. But I just wanted to add that to aid you to just.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's actually a very good point. I was actually considering doing adding that, but it was because
you were skeptical, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of skepticism around it because I was also thinking about the hardware part, the actual physical components of the elevator. So
true.
Would you consider that in case maybe the person has to do something that's not necessarily a system problem, but maybe the lines or something has an issue? Would you actually add that to it? So there's a lot of skepticism when I was doing this. So that's why I went with the primary actor only. But it's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah. Good job, though.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So if there are no more questions, then maybe the next person can present theirs.
Salim, sorry. Can I see the rest of your document?
Which part?
Yeah, can you go down a little bit?
Okay.
Okay. That's okay. I just wanted to see the alternate and the exception flows. I didn't see it earlier, so.
Okay.
That's cool.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen now so that the next person can present this. Thank you all for your.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Your last post condition, you says that if there are no more stops in the list of next stops, then the elevator goes on standby mode at the ground floor. Are you trying to say that the elevator will always be in standby mode at the ground floor?
Yes, that was the idea. Yes.
No, I'm just saying that. Is that what you are thinking, that the elevator will always come out to the ground floor?
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Okay. Well, I do not think that all elevators, they usually come down to the ground floor. They can be on the 20th floor, when the last person, the last passenger alights, they could be on the 20th floor. But I wanted to ask you this question. This, scenario, and Reed too, I had a question for you, but I forgot to ask you as well. If the elevator is stationary on the 20th floor, right? And then there's somebody coming down from the 18th floor, right? That's number one. Somebody's on the 18th floor. And then I have another passenger also going down from the 11th floor, coming down as well. And then I have somebody from the second floor going up. Would you please be able to tell us the set of behavior that is going to happen?
Okay, so maybe it wasn't clear, but from this scenario, from this use case.
Let me explain again.
Yes, okay.
The elevator is stationary, right, on the 20th floor.
Okay, on the 20th, okay.
And then somebody's on the 18th floor coming down. And there's another person on the 11th floor also coming down. Okay. And then there's somebody on the second floor going up. What is going to be the sort of behavior? Let's say the one on the second floor is the one that pressed first. But immediately after, that trigger, the one on the 18th floor hit the button as well to come down, and then the one on the 11th floor to come down.
Okay, so since the elevator would be moving in a downward situation, yeah, it will move in a downward situation. Basically we'll already be moving in a downward situation. So once the first floor is placed into the list of next stop, and the 18th is also pressed, as long as it hasn't passed the 18th floor, the 18th floor would be added to the list of next stops. And if it hasn't also already passed the 11th floor, the 11th floor would also be added to the list of next stops. So that would mean that the elevator would actually stop at those floors. But if it has already passed those floors, then it would stop at the second floor before going up. That's with this particular use case. So to stop if those floors were passed before the button was pressed. So from what you said, the buttons were pressed immediately. That means that the 18th and 11th would be registered, and then the elevator would stop at those floors. But since the second was also registered, if the location that they are trying to go is not above and it's also in the same downward situation, it would still finish the downward movement before it would change its direction and go towards the upward movement.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, very well. Reed, I had a question for you on your gas pump. I think you did a gas pump, right? So if I go to a gas station, right? If I'm at a gas station right now, and the way the gas station works is that I can pay at the pump, or I can pay with a cashier inside, right? The Shell shop, or Total shop, or whatever gas station. It could be Murphy or whatever. Now, if I went to the gas station and then I bought gas of maybe I paid the cashier over there, and I tell the cashier that I want $50 at pump, maybe pump 5, and then the cashier takes my money and give me $50 worth of gas at pump 5. Now I come back to the pump 5, I start loading. When I got to the maybe 27, right, it started giving me the fuel. So I got to $27 or something. Now my tank is full. Tell us what is going to be the sort of behavior that should happen.
Okay. Hello, Nana.
Yes.
So if I get you right, what he's saying here is that you didn't actually pay with the system. You went and paid with a cashier in an office. So, and then you started filling your tank, and then your tank got full when your money hasn't gotten to even half of it. That's the gas hasn't gotten to even half of your money. Okay, so here the behavior of the system will be such that it will detect the mechanism at the tip of the outlet will detect if your tank is full. And so when it detects that your tank is full, to cease the pumping, and then display your balance. And so when it displays your balance, you will then have to go to the office, to the cashier, to claim the remainder of your money. Hello, Nana.
Yeah, I think we lost you. Go ahead.
All right, so let me take it over again. So if the system detects that your tank is full, it will cease pumping. And then when it ceases, it will then displace the remainder of your money. That's your change. And then you will have to go to the cashier to claim your change, to take the rest of your money. That's my take on it.
Okay. All right, next person. So the thing is that, here, like over here, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I mean, Ghana, we have, fuel attendants, right? They're mostly over there. But here you can, pay by yourself at the pump, or you can, prepaid also at the, with the cashier also inside the store, right? And the cashier will just, whatever pump number that you own, the cashier will just say, okay, all right, go ahead. So yeah, with the receipt, you can go back, and then the cashier was going to ask you whether you want your money back, the refund back by cash, or do you want the refund to go back to the card that you use in making payment, right? So if you go to cashier, you can either pay by cash, right? Or you can pay by card. Now, the scenario is that if you pay by a card, then the refund, there's going to be two ways that it can happen, right? You can either get cash back, or you can get a refund directly to the card, which is not going to be instant, right? It's going to take maybe a couple of days for that refund to happen. And then if you pay by cash, definitely the refund is going to be by cash. There's no way you pay by cash and then you want the refund to happen on the Visa debit card for you, right? So that is the only thing in there. All right, Joshua, go. You can go ahead.
Thanks a lot.
Nana, over here, when you are filling your tank and then there's excess, we have small gallons. You can just put the rest in a gallon, and then the refund is not available.
That's funny.
What did you say?
He's given a 1 gallon alternative.
No, I'm saying that over here, when you enter your amount and then your tank is full, you just need to find a gallon, a small container, and then take the rest of the fuel in it and use it another time.
Oh,
there is no refund.
That's the taxi driver's time.
If I don't have a gallon,
they will force the fuel into the car.
That's a move. All right, Joshua, go ahead. Go ahead, Joshua. I think you are muted. You will have to unmute yourself. I'm thinking you are speaking or you're saying something, but we cannot. We are unable to hear you.
Just a moment. Okay, let me.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, please. I'm sharing from my screen. Please, can you
see? Yeah, we can see.
And you can hear me clearly too.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. All right. So please, this is a presentation on the ATM use case. Specifically, this use case specification is for withdrawal of cash from the ATM. So I have a table which in 2 columns. On the left-hand side, you have the use case session, which would briefly talk about the actor or the actors in the case, the overview of the whole use case, the preconditions, the main flow of the event, which is also known as a success scenario. There are subflows that I will talk about as well. And then we'll talk about the alternate flows or alternative flows, the exception flow, and then the post condition. And then so on the left, the right-hand side or the right column, you have the detailed description. So as I go from one step to the other, whatever I say on the left-hand side, I'll give details on it, or the details is on the right side. So I start with this specific use case, the withdrawal of cash from the ATM. The actors here, I put the primary actor. The primary actor is the active bank customer with an ATM card, or a bank user who has an ATM, an active ATM card. For the using of ATM in general, I could have also added, let's say, some secondary actors. let's say the maintenance person in case the ATM breaks down, as well as maybe the cashier who will do refills to the system. But because I was focusing on withdrawal of cash, I chose to just limit it to the primary actor. So the primary actor is interacting with the system, the ATM system. Okay, so the summary or the brief overview of the use case. So this use case describes how a bank customer will use an ATM to withdraw money from his or her bank account. So what are the preconditions of this use case? Firstly, the bank customer must possess a bank card or an ATM card. And also the network connection between the ATM and the bank system must be active. What it's trying to say is that ATM generally operates by having this telecom connection between the ATM system and the bank system. So without that connection, you see the ATM cannot actually function. So that also has to be in place. Then also, because it's for withdrawal of cash, this use case, the other precondition is that the system must actually have enough cash that can be dispensed or that can be withdrawn by the user or customer. And then the other one is that the cash withdrawal service option must be available. Yeah, so if there's no option on the system or on the ATM to interface to select withdrawal of cash, then there's no way you can actually be able to withdraw cash. So we move on to the main flow of events, the success scenario. Number one, so the customer walks up to the ATM and then inserts card. So what happens is that the use case will begin when the customer inserts their bank card into the card reader on the ATM. So at once, when the card is inserted, the system would allocate a session identifier between the ATM and the bank because a card has been inserted into the system. So it's like a process is about to start and the ATM is aware. So the system would read the card. That is the second step, second flow. The system reads the card. Then, so the system will read the bank card information from the card. So once this is read, the next thing will be for the system to authenticate the customer. So we want to verify that, okay, is this card an active card? And like, can the person be validated or authenticated to be able to use it? So in detail, at this step, you perform a subflow called the authenticate customer to authenticate the use of the bank ATM card by the customer or individual using the machine. I'll quickly jump to the subflow so that I can explain that one in details, and then I'll come back to the main flow. So the subflow authenticates user. You see subflows. One, authenticates user. So two things are happening here. So when the system wants to authenticate user, what will happen is that one, it has to validate the card information. So under validate card information, see that when the system will check to confirm that the bank card and its associated accounts are active, and also that the card perhaps has not been reported stolen, and that the card information, that is the PIN and everything from the bank card is valid. Then the system will also send the ATM ID to the bank system with the bank card information. It's also part of the validation process. So once the bank system acknowledges that the card information is valid, then it means that, okay, the card can be used. This is an active card, and yes, this PIN is it has a recognized PIN in the system. So the second part of the authentication of the customer is where you validate the user identity. So the system would now prompt. The system knows that the card it has not been reported stolen or anything. It can be used. So now it will it will prompt the customer to enter his or her PIN. Then the customer will enter the PIN. Then the system will check that whether the PIN that has been entered is identical to the PIN read from the bank card, or the PIN in the system, the PIN from the bank. Is it the right PIN? If that is set or is right, then the customer has been authenticated. So I'll quickly go back to the main flow. So after the third one, which we just did, the system authenticating the customer, now we go to the next step, which is the customer selects withdrawal. So the customer has been successfully authenticated. He has entered his PIN and the system has acknowledged. Now the system will display the service options that are available on the machine. So of the many options there, let's say check-in balance and withdraw cash, the customer will select withdraw cash, or will select to withdraw cash. After this step, now the customer would select amount. So the system will prompt for the amount to be withdrawn by displaying, I beg your pardon, the list of standard withdrawal amount. So usually there are some standard withdrawal amount that would show. They can just press straight forward. The customer can select an amount to withdraw. In another case, I don't think I put this here, but you may enter a different amount because it's not in the pre-populated options or the displayed standard options. So the customer could also go ahead and do that. So after the customer selects the amount, then the system and select an amount to be withdrawn, then the system will confirm the withdrawal. So for the system to also confirm the withdrawal, it has to perform some subflows. So the first subflow is the system will perform the assess funds on hand subflow. I'll just give a short description, but I'll still go there. That one, the system wants to check, like, is there, just to confirm whether there's enough sufficient funds to actually dispense. And also the second subflow, so that is actually when the withdrawal itself is conducted. So I'll move on to the next slide and then look at those specific subflows again under system confirming withdrawal. Okay, so the assess funds on hand under system confirming withdrawal. The first thing that will happen is that, one, the system determines whether it has sufficient funds, like I was saying, on hand to dispense the requested amount. So if there are not enough or sufficient funds on hand, then the system will inform the customer that the amount requested is not available from the ATM. And perhaps they will offer a readily available amount, which may be a lower amount. So the system can go ahead and maybe select that amount or confirm it and then do the withdrawal. But in any case, like the first one, if the system determines whether it has sufficient funds on hand, and you can just go ahead and dispense the requested amount. So the second one is in case there is not sufficient funds. Then the second subflow that happens under system confirming the withdrawal is that the system will validate the withdrawal. That is under conduct withdrawal subflow. One, it will validate the withdrawal. So the system would supply the bank with the amount of requested withdrawal, the transaction fee, and it will ask the bank perhaps to approve the withdrawal. So the bank, this is a communication between the ATM system and then the bank server. So the bank system responds with withdrawal acceptance to approve the withdrawal. So it's a very swift interaction between the systems. Then the second thing is that it will login of the authorization. So the system will record the transaction log entry for the authorized withdrawal. And it will also include the information that the cash has actually not been dispensed yet. So the withdrawal is validated, and then there is a log that, okay, there is a withdrawal a withdrawal that is being made and that the cash is about to be dispensed. So I'll quickly go back to the main flow of events. So after the system confirms the withdrawal, now the system would eject card. So system ejects card. So the system ejects the customer's bank card, ATM card. Then the customer would take the card from the machine. So after this 7th step of system ejecting the card, then this next step 8, is that the system will then dispense cash. So system dispenses cash. So the system dispenses the required amount of cash to the customer, and the system records a transaction log entry for the withdrawal. So from the beginning, the user inserts card and everything has gone on, and system confirms the withdrawal and then ejects the card and then dispenses the cash. After the user takes the cash, the system records a transaction log entry for the withdrawal, and a receipt also comes out for the user. Then 9, the use case ends. So the use case actually ends here. So I've talked about the main flow and the subflow for now, but under this same withdrawal of cash use case, there are some alternate flows or some other things that may happen, which is not part of the main flow or success scenario. The alternate flows, the first one is handling of wrong PIN entered for customer authentication. So remember that in the first main flow, we said that system authenticates customer. And under that subflow of authentication of customer, we specify that they validate user identity by asking for the PIN, and the user has to enter the correct PIN. So under this alternate flow of handling the wrong PIN entered by the customer for customer authentication, if a wrong PIN is entered 3 times, so in this alternate flow, let's say a wrong PIN is entered 3 times under customer authentication, that is validating of the customer identity, the system will withhold the card and it would not eject it. So if a wrong PIN is entered 3 times, the system withholds cash and doesn't eject it. Then the use case ends here. So it withhold the cash, the card, and it doesn't eject it. So probably the user or the customer has to maybe enter the banking hall or contact the bank to make a report that this and this and that, and then maybe follow the instructions of the bank to be able to retrieve their card. So the use case ends in that case. The second alternate flow is when the customer checks account balance. So we already said that this use case specification is for withdrawing of cash, but perhaps when the customer enters his PIN and the interface shows the service options, the customer may not actually use the withdrawal, but rather check balance first, which is something that people usually do. So in this case, if the customer, after entering the correct PIN, decides to select check balance on the transaction menu, the system will display account balance. After this, the system returns to the main transaction menu for the process to continue. So in this case, the alternate flow is not, it doesn't end here. The use case doesn't end here because it's not like a problem as in the first case of wrong PIN. But in this case, maybe you just want to check your balance before continuing with the withdrawal. That's why it says that after this, the system returns to the main transaction menu for the process to continue. So in this case, this alternate flow, it goes back into the main flow for the customer to now make the withdrawal and enter the amount and everything until the use case ends. So the exception flow, the user doesn't remove cash after it's dispensed. So an exception flow is like something that maybe that has happened that will cause maybe the actor to not be able to achieve the goal that they set out to achieve through the use case. So the goal is to withdraw cash, have your cash from the ATM and take your card and go home. But in this, let's say if the cash is dispensed but not removed by the customer after 30 seconds, the system beeps to maybe create an alert. Then if the user doesn't still remove cash after the 30-second beep, the system will withhold the cash and create a log to report this, that a withdrawal was completed, but the cash was dispensed but was not actually removed. So the system kept or withheld the cash. So that is the exception flow. In this case, it means that the user has not been able to get their cash or withdraw their cash from the ATM. So what are the post conditions? So the post conditions after the main success scenario or the main flow of events is that the ATM has returned the card, the ATM card, and also dispensed the cash to the customer. And the withdrawal is registered on the customer's account. Also that the ATM has kept the okay, so under this post condition, I put 2. The top one is for the main success scenario. That is everything is successful, success scenario. So the ATM has returned the card and dispensed the cash to the customer, and the withdrawal is registered on the customer's account. But the second post condition is for when there is an issue like the handling of the wrong PIN and the card is withheld. So in this case, the ATM has kept the card or keeps the card. No withdrawal has been registered on the customer's account, and the customer has been notified where to contact for more information. So like I was saying, maybe you have to contact your bank or call them to report that, oh, I mistakenly entered the wrong PIN. Or maybe it was even a card that was being used by a thief or something. Then you can work on that. So this is the post condition. So this has been the use case, but I have the diagram, use case diagram here. So just simplified use case diagram. Like I said, I'm only showing the primary actor, which is the bank customer, and then the system. So what happens is that the bank customer, who is the primary actor, inserts his card, then the system on the other end reads the card. Then authentication of the customer is in 2 ways. Once the system reads the card, it will ask for PIN. Then the customer will enter the PIN. So once that is entered successfully, the next thing will be for the customer to select withdraw from the transaction menu that will appear. Then select the amount or enter the amount that you want to withdraw. Then the system will confirm the withdrawal, which we explained into details in the first session. Then after the withdrawal has been confirmed by the system will eject the card and dispense the cash. So the bank customer would now take their card and then their cash, and then the use case has ended. So thank you. This is the end of the presentation on withdrawing of cash from the use case, from the ATM. Thank you. Thank you.
Joshua.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you did very well with how you elaborated on your use case. But I just wanted to ask, I have two questions actually, but the first one is if the bank customer inserts the card and the card is red, won't the ATM actually display like a menu? As you said, it would display a menu where there will be like a list of options for the customer to choose from, but like I didn't see that in there, or you added it
after the system reads the card.
Yeah, after the card is inserted and it's verified, you actually see that it would display a list of like a menu list, like of where you can either check balance, change bank pin, check balance, and all those other kind of things, and with the numbers attached to it. So you can just click one, press one. You can actually go to the withdrawal menu, press two, go to check balance. I just wanted to ask if you added something like that, because I didn't see. And
please, can you see the first page?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying. Yes, the main flow of events, the step 4, where I mentioned customer selects withdraw, the system displays the service option. That's like the transaction menu.
Okay.
Like the list of options. Yes, but it is true. I think I should have given more detail about that. So it's like it's this one got lost in it. You couldn't. Yes. I was just trying to go directly to the withdrawal, so I mentioned it in the same sentence. But I think I should have put that one as an individual step. Yes, that the system displays the same options.
Okay, so my second question, are you done? Let me just let you finish.
Yes.
Okay. The second question is that in case, like in this scenario, like I see someone withdrawing money. You see that thing? They are yet to like input any in the list of the displayed menu or this displayed services. I see them about to withdraw, and I just go and stand. I'm a thief, and I put a gun or something behind them, try to force them to withdraw. Like, is there a way that as the customer, would they be able to show, like, to give a signal to the system in a way that they wouldn't bring out the money, or like they will just display like in available funds or something, so that the thief, do you get my scenario?
Yes, I get it.
Yeah. So that's my second question.
So to answer this, yes, firstly I have to mention that I know that from most, if not all ATMs, they have the camera there, and they have the camera on top, right, to capture everything that happens there and in and around. And I also know that for most of them, they put some security instruction guidelines on the wall of the ATM and everything to guide. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because personally, I have limited knowledge on the possibilities in that case, whether actually if you have a gun to your head, whether you'll be able to prompt the system. I have limited information on that to be able to answer it, but I know that at least there will be a camera to perhaps capture the situation, and so that in case you even go ahead to withdraw the cash, maybe that security footage may help the police or the security force to be able to maybe carry out an investigation. Also, like I was saying about the instructions on the wall, sometimes maybe if you see someone creeping around, you can quickly just maybe eject your card and then pass your way. But that is not to say that I'm only saying that because for the answer to your question itself, like I have very limited knowledge on it. So perhaps if you do, you can even help me or anyone at all.
Yeah, it's open to the floor. So if anyone has an answer, because I myself, I heard something similar, but there was a way that the system like during the like it was an interaction between the customer and the system, and it was able to get an alert to the server or the bank service, and they were able to bring around the police. But like, I just wanted to find out how the whole thing transpired. So if there's anyone who has any this thing.
Hello.
Yes, please, Larry, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. With regards to what you are discussing currently, I have a contribution. It goes this way. I did see a camera. I think latest ATM machines have cameras, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they have cameras placed, I think, at the top of the machine. So overseeing everything you do. Okay, and I think it goes even further, it captures further, not only your hand actions, but I think a bit beyond you towards the back. So all these systems that help to check, security systems that help to check such scenarios like you are discussing. I don't know if this can be found helpful.
Okay, Reed.
Yes, sir.
Like you see, with the cameras that are on the ATM machines, let's take it in this. It will just bring another scenario to me. Let's take it as this. I'm a hacker and I have been able to access the cameras on the ATM machine, maybe a specific one, a targeted machine, and I'm good. I have just accessed the cameras. And if the cameras is placed in an angle that it shows your hand, you see your hand gestures and what you're doing, everything you do, your hand gestures, and I'm able to see that you've inputted this and that, I will be able to assign some thugs to locate you. They will monitor your movement, where you are for like 5 weeks, and we'll come and target you, rob you, take your card, and then we can easily verify the card because we know your PIN. We can just withdraw everything. Do you get it? So I think with the cameras, it is set in a vintage like position where it can see your upper body. Let's say from your neck, it's like a selfie something, or it can just get your surroundings and then your face and anything that's happening behind you. So if maybe I just come towards you and I put something behind you like a knife or a gun, and I'm like, withdraw the money sharp and just give me something. You see that thing? It would be able to capture it. You see, but my analogy from the point of view was that when such a scenario happens, I think there should be a button, if not on the display, on the side of the machine, that would immediately send an alert to the bank servers or anyone who is behind the system that this is happening and it is an urgent call. You see that thing? So
exactly like the one they have, the tellers have under their desk.
Yes. So something like that. So immediately someone just comes behind you, just press it without even it is something that it is not known to all persons, but anybody who comes for the card, you are told about this to check every ATM machine. We have this here installed here, there, and there. Nice. So it is not even written on the ATM for everybody to read. Else like the thief will also read it and be like, don't even think of trying to press this thing. I will cut you up. Do you get it? So it is something that will be told to every card holder by the teller once you have been issued the card, and it would be like a button which will be disguised somewhere, so that if something like that happens, immediately when you press it, then it would send a signal so that there will be someone dispatched to come and aid you. So that's how I think we can solve that issue. But I just wanted to bring it on board so that if there's any other like point of view to it, so that we can all share ideas.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. It's true.
Yeah, but Gideon, Gideon, Joshua, your work is very, very good, like very, very detailed as well. So that's just my two questions that I had.
Thank you so much. I'll go and read. I'll read on your second question. I'll read on it extensively.
Yeah, you should. It's very in some way, but yeah, you should. Well, good job though. Good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, Adam, I like your job. That's a very good work. I think the focus was much more on the withdrawal and sometimes somewhere checking of the account as well. You probably do not emphasize on the issue of transfer of money or deposit of money. I understand you because our system here, we don't really bother doing such things. Our focus is to withdraw or check your balance, even though there are functions on the ATM that allow us to deposit money, but we don't do those things. So I understand the concept where your work is coming from. The other thing I want to talk about has to do with the PIN, like we've held, or how the system withheld or withhold the user's card. You spoke about three attempts, and that's it. I was asking, is that not too harsh, or probably too much of a security consciousness? Anyway, but I was thinking about why can't it be 3 sections instead of 3 attempts? So first one happens, we will reject your card, you put it in, so that's the second section, and then you try it again, it doesn't happen, we reject your card, and then we allow you to do it for the third time, inserting the card again, and then you do that, and then we've held it, or we hold your card instead of probably maybe in the circle or in the first sections at 3 attempts of the PIN and your card is being taken. That's how I understand your explanation, unless unless you want to explain better than this. The other one has to do with the post condition.
Post conditions, yes, please.
Yes. So with the post conditions, I've not heard from you about probably maybe after the transactions, an email is sent to the user on all the transactions that he has done with all the details in it.
Okay.
Anything like that. That's also very important, so that it won't look like you have only a notification which is displayed on the screen for you after all your processes, but there is something that you can refer to after you have done all those transactions. So that's what I want to add to it.
Yes, please. Yes, you've made certain point that I agree to. I guess I have to add that. Yes, please. Hello. Hello.
Yes, again, quickly, Anam.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sir.
Can you go back to your diagram?
The diagram, okay.
I want a clarification to that. I want Nana to probably clarify this for us, because I know there are shapes that you use to indicate what exactly you are trying to come out with. For instance, the squares that you use there if you are using the UML programs, it tells you that the square is actually the system itself. Okay, and then there's it takes a circle or an O shape and stuff like that. But it looks like all your diagrams have square, more like a system symbol. So I don't know if this is also fine. Nana can clarify that for us. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Joshua.
Yes, sir.
With regards to the concern that I was just raised. I think I remember on our page, WhatsApp page, that you did communicate some challenges you were having with your systems and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, knowing you, knowing you to be an industrious person, I'm actually defending you here because I know you're a hardworking guy. Knowing you, if things had all gone right, you know, I know these details would definitely be corrected. You know, with that said, I think your presentation is fine with me. Yeah, it's fine with me. As usual, you always flow. Your flow makes me think the whole thing is recorded. Yeah, so you've done a nice job. I've been following keenly. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll do well to add all the input that's coming. Yeah. I'll do well to add all those inputs. And thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
I think we'll wait for Nana for the clarification on the diagram. Hello.
Hello, Nana.
Nana, are you there?
Looks are nice.
The line is very, very bad.
We cannot really hear.
Like the person who just spoke, your line is very, very, very not clear.
Oh, Mr.
So I think we should just continue.
Your line.
Can we have the next person present?
Yeah, I'm next.
On the page so that maybe we can ask the question there. The diagram. Or it's okay. If I send a screenshot to the main page.
No problem.
Yeah, it's fine. You can do that. So that's now.
Okay.
Yes, do that.
Then Sam, I'll stop sharing so that you can.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Welcome.
Okay, over to you, Sam.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Yeah, I hope I'm audible enough.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. So this is my Coca-Cola vending machine use case document. So this is the table of contents, which talks about everything in the document. So I first display the diagram, the use case diagram of the Coca-Cola vending machine, which has, I think it has two actors, which is the primary actor and the secondary actor. The primary actor is the buyer or the customer, and the secondary actor is the vending machine manager. So these are the actions or the things that would be taking place here. So with the primary actor, he would insert the coins and choose a product. With the secondary actor, he would have actions to these services. There's product restock, product quantity, checking the quantity of the product inside of the vending machine, and collection of the coins, and also sufficient amount of coins inserted. So this is, I think I should have added another actor here, which would be the system, checking the amount of coins inserted. So I move on to the use case section itself. So this is the first section, which is for the buyer. So the primary actor is the buyer, secondary actor, the vending machine. So the included use case description is the insertion of coins and the product quantity. So the summary here is that this describes the process by which a Coca-Cola drink or can is purchased from the vending machine. The precondition is that the Coca-Cola vending machine is turned on and fully operational and ready to use. So the main flow or the success scenarios here, which are the vending machine is turned on, checks for the availability of products. So when the vending machine is turned on, it automatically checks for the availability of products. The cost of each item or product in the vending machine is displayed. A buyer inserts a coin. So here lies the case that it starts from here. The buyer inserts the coin into the vending machine and specifies which item they prefer to purchase. So after it's specified, the vending machine validates the coins slotted in it. If it meets if it meets the item cost, then it proceeds to push out the selected item, which is Coca-Cola, or in case it was a Coca-Cola vending can, so it will be a Coca-Cola product, which would be different. So a wide range of Coca-Cola products, bottled, canned, and all those kind of stuff. So the last action here would be that the buyer would pick up his or her product and then leave. That would be the end of it. So the first alternate flow here is that if the main step 4 in the main flow of the vending machine verifies the coins inserted does not match the cost of the item. So we go to the 4, which is the vending machine validates coins slotted in if it meets the item of the cost or the cost item. So this is what happens if the step 4 in the main flow does not match. So the buyer is notified to insert more coins to user. Actually, I made a mistake here. The user proceeds until, I think I made a mistake here. Until the vending machine verifies I think the customer proceeds to wait until the vending machine verifies the coins inserted. If it meets the item cost, then it will proceed to the rest of the main flow, which is the machine pushing out the item and then the buyer picking up the product. So the exception flow, the first one would be that the buyer cancels request to purchase the item. Then the vending machine aborts the purchase process, ejects the coins inserted, and then the use case ends. So the post conditions, the vending machine displays cost of available products. I should have added it was also turned on and fully functional here. The main flow here and the exception flow is that no stock, when there's no stock of products available to purchase. So we move on to the second section, which is the purchases. So this is the purchases. It's part of the user processes. So the ID and the category and the description. Buyer must insert coins into the Coca-Cola vending machine to make a purchase, which is the main flow 3. So we come to the main flow 3 and we see that that's where the buyer inserts the coins. Buyer must insert right number of coins of the selected item. So we go to the 4 and it will display that the buyer must insert the valid amount of coins before they could be able to purchase the item. So the third use case rule would be the buyer has to choose the preferred item. So without the buyer choosing the item, they can't purchase. So the fourth one would be buyer won't receive item if slotted coins do not meet the selected item cost. So we go to the main flow 5 and it will tell us the same thing. The vending machine pushes out the selected item, but if the coins in the if the buyer does not select any item, then they won't receive any product. So the fifth one would be that the coins do not meet the item cost and they will be ejected, which is the main flow 4. So we go to the second section, which is the product restock. So the product restock, the primary actor here is the vending machine manager. So the secondary actor here would be the vending machine system. So included use case is the product's quantity. The summary, this describes the process by which the vending machine manager restocks the vending machine. So the preconditions being the Coca-Cola vending machine is turned off and not ready for use. So if the vending machine is going to act upon the summary, the precondition is supposed to be that the vending machine should be turned off and not in use. So we move on to the main flow, which I start with the one. The manager opens the vending machine and checks if there is enough products available to sell. The manager restocks the vending machine with enough products. So here is the if. If it's not enough, then he restocks. After it has been restocked and the items are placed into the vending machine, the manager closes the vending machine. So after the vending machine is closed, the manager also acts upon turning on the vending machine and making it ready to use. And the machine system confirms the availability of the restocked product. So the system in itself confirms the products that has been placed and checks the quantity of every product that has been placed in it. Then the vending machine is ready to use for customers. So we go to the flows. The first one, the first alternate flow is at step 5. So here confirms the availability of restock products. So it says vending machine confirms the availability of products, then the Coca-Cola vending machine is ready to use. So if at step 5 of the main flow, the system verifies that all the products that have been restocked is available, then it is ready to use. Let me go to the exception flow. If at step 2 of the main flow, so we come to the step 2 of the main flow, which says that the manager restocks the vending machine with enough products, Coca-Cola or any other product. The manager doesn't restock. So this is the exception flow or the alternate flow, the restock. If the manager doesn't restock the vending machine, then the Coca-Cola vending machine is not ready for use. I should have corrected that. So here lies the case. If here in the main flow, the manager is not able to restock the vending machine when the items are short or are not enough, then it should not be ready for use. So we go to the post conditions, whereby it states that the vending machine displays the cost of available product as it should. And then the exception flow is that no stock, when there's no Coca-Cola product available to purchase, then the vending machine should not be ready to use. I should have added that. So we come to the use case rules. So I added 3 rules, the category being the restock, and then the descriptions added, and the use case steps. So the manager is the only one with the access to open and close the Coca-Cola vending machine. So here lies the case that the key or like the access to open the Coca-Cola machine is only for the manager. So the main flow can only be done or perpetrated by the manager. So we go to the second use case rule, which is the restock category. Available products must not be below 10%. So the manager must always check if the items in there are not below 10%. So 10% it means that there's nothing in there at all, and it's almost done. So he should always be checking if the items in there are enough. So when it gets to like 15% or 20% about to finish, and then he would restock. So the third category in the use case rules would be that the vending machine system verifies the quantity of the product restock, which is the main flow 4. If you come to the main flow 4, after the machine is turned on, then the system would verify the availability of products. So we come to the third and the final section, which is the collection of coins. So the person who will be acting upon this section is also the vending machine manager, who is the primary actor as stated here. The secondary actor is the vending machine system. Included use cases, the collection of coins. So collect coins, the summary being that this describes the process by which the manager collects coins from the Coca-Cola vending machine. So the preconditions here is that the Coca-Cola vending machine is turned off and not ready for use, just as if he was restocking. The manager, if he was restocking, the machine has to be turned off. So we come to the main flow, the success scenario. The manager checks if all products has been sold. So when he's ready to collect all the coins, he will check if all products have been sold. If there are still some to be sold, he would leave it on and restock. But when they've all been sold, then he turns on the machine. And this is not only when they've all been sold, when he wants to take out the machine or the system alerts him that the coins collector is full, then he comes on, turns off the machine, and then collects the coins. So we move on to the second step in the main flow. The manager he removes the coin collector inside of the vending machine. The manager empties the coins collector and puts it back into the vending machine. The manager closes and turns on the Coca-Cola vending machine in the fourth step. The vending machine system verifies that the coins collector is in place and it's fitting in. Maybe it's not misplaced in there. It would alert the manager if it's misplaced, so that he takes it out and puts it back in very well or properly. Then the fifth here being that the Coca-Cola vending machine is on, fully functional and ready to use. So we come to the alternate flow. So we have a few here. So we come to the first alternate flow. And the description is that if at step 5 of the main flow, which is this, the vending machine system verifies that the coins collector is in place, then the Coca-Cola vending machine is ready to use. So when the system verifies that the coins collector is in and it is in place, then it is ready to use. But if after the manager takes out the coin collector and he doesn't place it back in, it is not ready to use. Because if a user or a customer comes in to purchase and he takes out, like he inserts the coins, it would not fall into the coins collector. Here lies the case, it would just cause a whole mess because the user won't get the drink because there's no initiation of purchase through the system. So the second exception flow is that if at step 2 of the main flow, the manager does not remove the coins collector from the vending machine. So when we go to the second step in the main flow, the manager removes the coin collector inside the vending machine. So as I said, there are two processes which would allow the manager to come for the coins collector. One, if it's full and the system gives an alert that it is full. On two being that when he wants to come for it, it is his machine, so he can choose to come for the coins in it at any point in time. So it is in the step 2 of the main flow, when the manager does not remove the coins collector, then the Coca-Cola is not, why? Then the Coca-Cola vending machine is still ready to use. So when the coins are still in there and it's not full and there's no alert to the manager that the coins is full or anything of the ordinary, and the manager also doesn't want to remove it, then the machine is ready, it's still available to use to the customers. But if the system alerts the manager that it is full or he wants to come for it, then he can. So the post conditions here, this is titled to the main flow. So the vending machine confirms coins collector is available. If it's not in there, if it's not been placed in there, then it would give an alert to the manager, or it will display an alert that the coins collector is not in place. And the second one being that the vending machine displays available products. So when everything in there, with everything in there, the system or the vending machine would display the list of available products so that you won't make a purchase of a product that is not available. So in the exception flow, no stock of Coca-Cola available. Coca-Cola product is available to purchase. So we come to the we come to the use case rules for the collection of coins. So we have 2 rules in here. So category, the description, and then the use case steps. So with the category collection of coins, the description being that the Coca-Cola vending machine products, which is the items in there, should all be sold before the manager can remove the coins collector. So when everything is done and the coins collector is full, then the manager can come. I think I should have made a correction in the process flow so that it could accommodate the rules. I made a mistake in there, so that the manager can remove the coins. So the second use case rule would be that the coins collector must be emptied before being placed. So once the coins collector is ejected, the coins shouldn't still be in it, or there shouldn't be some sort of item or coins in there, but everything should be emptied before the coins collector is placed back into the Coca-Cola vending machine. So this is the end of my presentation for the Coca-Cola vending machine use case system or machine. So if you guys have any questions for me, you can now go ahead and then ask.
I don't know if it's a question or suggestion. Like the diagram, with the diagram, right?
Okay, let me just go to the diagram.
Yeah, this one. I don't know if it can be maybe another one where instead of the vending machine, it will be like, instead of the vending machine manager, it will be the machine itself.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Get it. That we can get the interaction maybe when there is a, because looking at the flow, I saw some vending machine, but the diagram.
That's what I was saying, that like I should have added another actor here, being the machine system in itself, because you see that the manager should, if like the coins is in there and it's full, like the manager should come for it. If not, then it is in there. So the manager is also an actor. But as you said, no, it is true. The system is also an actor because it acts, or it like it produces an action, or it acts upon something. So I think
the user will be interacting with the machine.
Directly. You are very, very right. Yeah, true. That's true. I made a mistake here. I would actually correct that.
Samuel, did you have a section for like credit cards?
For
like in terms of accepting payments, do you have
payments? Okay, with the how do I put it? The vending machine, I didn't actually think that far to accepting payments with credit cards or any other payment methods. I just thought of the coins because of the traditional methods of like purchasing from a vending machine. It's just to insert the coins and then like getting the item. But I think it's also a valid point to add or include that. But like I don't have like more knowledge on such. So if you could like enlighten me on such, I would appreciate it so that I could add it into my document.
Oh, because you kept emphasizing on coins. That's why.
That's like that's how like the traditional method of like just inputting coins and then taking it out, inputting the coins and taking it out. That's how like I thought. But I think with your suggestion, it's valid that I could also add like because we're in a modern world right now, so it shouldn't just be the inputting of coins and stuff. We could actually take other payment methods.
So then in the United States, it'll be a quarter. There's the quarter.
And with your diagram, with your diagram, I don't see like a section for the maintenance person, because the manager is like whoever is stocking up, and then the buyer is, but I think you should include like a maintenance personnel, because
true.
Those things are kind of faulty. So
very true. Very true. I think so. I have to add 2 actors in here, which being the system and also the maintenance guy.
The
maintenance personnel. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, Sam. I can't really hear.
Hello, Sam. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, sir. Yeah.
Okay, so as I've already said, I wanted to add a suggestion of maybe including the other payment methods, because as I've already said, so maybe even the paper money could also be an option.
True.
So
as I think it could be where if like there's a teller or someone who is in the store. I think that's true.
So and also I wanted to ask a few questions about.
Okay.
One has to do with the system confirms the availability of the restock.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a little explanation on how the system would do it. Like, is it some sort of a sensor or? I wanted to know how the system would check the restock. That has been done by
the manager.
Yeah, that's been done by the manager. Yeah.
Okay, so with the whole thing, when you open the vending machine, every item is placed on, like, I think it has a panel that you place the item on. You see that thing before it is displayed through the
Yeah.
So when there's a particular weight for if the system verifies if there's an item on it, if there's an item placed, there's a weight that is, I think it deals with the sensory or like a sensor. So when there's nothing, it's empty. It feels that there's nothing, because when there's a purchase, it just drops the item for the user to pick it. But when there's an item in there and every slot is full, when every slot it's occupied, then the system would verify that everything is in place and every item is available. But when an item is purchased and it drops it, and then like a user, it's picked up by the customer, buyer, then the system would verify that there's in slot 1 or like maybe row 7 or 8, there's an item that has been purchased. So it notifies that down. So I think that's what happens. It uses a sensor on each
sensor. Okay.
Yeah.
And also I was wondering about what if the price of some of the products change?
Yeah,
was that considered?
Yeah, I think I considered it, but like I was focusing on like the main flows, and I just got lost in all that. But I thought of that actually. I wrote that down, but I didn't add it. I think I just got lost with all of it. But I think it's you alerted me, because when the manager does, there are specific actions that he should be able to do or like act upon. And if I state one action and like the others I don't put it in there, it's not fair. All right. So
okay. Also, I'd like to add the comment that was raised earlier about the machine being an actor. I don't think the machine should be an actor. I don't know, from what I've read, the system itself isn't considered as an actor because of like something must trigger the system. So it's a triggering thing that is considered the actor. So that's what I've gotten so far. So I don't know. That's just something I want to put there.
Oh, okay.
But then I have a question about the rules about the coins. When you said,
let me go there.
The rules about the coins.
This is the purchases. Okay. Let me just quickly. Okay.
That was the last. The rules about one where you have the it can only be emptied after. Can remove the coins only after all the product, and also the coins must be emptied. So basically, from what I get, the first one is saying that unless all the items are sold, the manager cannot remove the coins collector.
Yeah, that was when I was like, when I read it, I actually realized that I made a mistake, because when I started coming down from the coins collection section, I mentioned that I should have stated that it could be done on 2 scenarios, that the manager could prefer to remove the coins, initiate the removal at any point if like, and the second one being that after the system, the collector is full, then like he or she can choose to remove the coins.
Okay. The second one also with it must be emptied before being placed. So that means that if there is still some coins in it, it will not be rejected. Is that what is being said? Because I was thinking maybe a manager could probably want to just check how much is in there. Maybe because they're like, maybe he wants to send it to the bank or something. He couldn't send it that day. He just wants to keep it back in the machine. So he might want to just put it back. I don't know. That's just something I'm thinking about.
That's also a valid suggestion. I think that's also something that could happen. You see, maybe the coins is a lot for him and he couldn't count it or put it somewhere, put it back into the machine. So I think it could be done. It could be done. But here lies the case that I was thinking upon the fact that if the coins is, you see, and there are still some products available, when a customer sees it, he would initiate the purchase. So when he initiates the purchase, he inserts the coins. What if the coins in there is full?
Okay, that's true.
It could jam the system into like a whole scenario where the buyer won't get the coin back, he won't get the drink, and then he could get frustrated.
So I think maybe like a conditions also be applied where if the coin collector is full, then something should happen so that the manager would have to remove it before a purchase can be made.
Yeah, that's why I said I missed it in the process flow.
Okay. That's good. That's good. But great job so far. Everything looks very good.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So guys, any other questions?
Hello, Sam.
Yeah, Mr. Reed, I was waiting for you.
Boss, my beg, page 7.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, we are there.
Okay, good. No.
Yeah.
Let me see the page number. Let me see the page number.
That's it.
Now, good. Okay, good, perfect. Okay, so exception flow. That's at the top. In the third column, that's description. It said if at step 2 of main flow, the manager doesn't remove the coin collector from the vending machine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
You get it now.
I get it. I thought doesn't remove the coins from the vending machine.
No. Yeah, I actually clarified it. So, but like you could have a question here, being that if like he removes it, you see, I should have stated like something else in here to just remove the doubt. If the machine, he removes it and he doesn't places it back, then it's not ready for use. But I just stated it being ready for use when he removes it. But I should have made it in a way that I should have added it not being ready for use if there's no collector in there. So I stated that I made a mistake when I didn't add that.
Okay. That's acceptable.
Yeah. But I thought you were coming to point that out, though. It's good you didn't say.
Salim.
Yeah, this is Sam.
Yeah. I want to clarify something about the machine being actor. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, but looking at the case here, the machine will eject or like deliver the product to the user or whoever is attending to it.
Yeah.
And the manager or the technician only restocks, but there's an actor who is supposed to interact with the user. I don't know if I'm clear. It's like going to a pharmacy to buy something. If there's nobody to serve you, how do you buy it? And in this situation, the machine is a robot. It's like a human being. Yeah. So basically, it's like an actor.
No, it doesn't trigger itself because the what I know from what I've seen so far, the actor is something that triggers the system. That's what I've seen so far. That is my point of view. I'm not saying that maybe you are wrong, but from my point of view, the machine is described as dumb and it cannot trigger itself. So it can only be triggered by, let's say, time for another user. So basically, in that situation, and like with the ATM will also be considered an actor because it also has to dish out the money, right? So if we are going with that, then all the time we have to consider the machine. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not saying, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's a valid thought.
With what you're saying, with the ATM, it has a different automation process in there. But with the vending machine, let me just clarify this. You see,
maybe I'm not getting the part he's talking about clearly. So maybe
okay. So like with the vending machine, it has like a steps, like it has a step flow whereby if this is acted upon, then this happens. If this is acted upon, then this happens. You see that thing? So it doesn't have an external actor inside of the machine. The manager doesn't send the product to the person. If I put the coins in there, I purchase by any other method, and I push it inside, and I verify, the system verifies that it is up to the system itself, the vending machine itself, drop the item.
Yes, that's the point I was trying to make.
So with a vending machine, that's a different system from the ATM, whereby it's like there's a server somewhere, or someone sitting behind it. Then he would allow the accept.
No. I don't know, but I don't think the ATM, it is somebody who triggers the dispensing. There's a back end which is automated to check all these things. So I don't think it's somebody personally triggering ejection or rejection. I don't. From what I know. I don't know.
For the ATM, I don't have a lot of knowledge with.
So I don't think there's somebody that actually triggers it manually. The same with the
vending machine.
Because with the vending machine, I think it's automated, right? So
yeah, it's automated. Yeah.
It can't eject the Coca-Cola unless the user actually interacts with the machine.
Yes.
So the user must interact. That is why I'm saying that the user is now
the actor. Yeah.
But then the machine cannot interact with itself to eject Coca-Cola.
That's why I said
so without the user, it cannot interact with itself. That's what I'm saying.
But like it's a secondary actor, because it's also performing an
action. It's a secondary actor, so then there's still an actor.
But like I think maybe I would read more, because you have a valid, very, very, very solid valid point that I should verify, because I actually researched on different systems before even starting the vending machine. I checked similar systems and use cases. That's my analogy, but I would actually have a further research on it so that
I would also do some research. I think we all have to do the research on it just to get the.
But your point is very valid. Your point is very, very, very valid upon the definition of an actor and who an actor is and all that. I would actually do that. It's very, very good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. I think this is all that time is going to allow us. You guys have even exceeded 15 minutes, right? But it's a fruitful dialogue. I know you guys are asking critical questions, which is good. That's the essence for presentation all the time. I've already told you guys, right? I've already posted some few assignments in there. My advice is that don't wait, right? If every day you make up your mind that you're going to turn one in, you should be done with all these assignments. And I'm going to be, checking in, so make sure that, you look at it. And then I'm not sure if there are any questions with the assignment for me to clarify, but it should be self-explanatory. So go through what I've posted. Yes, go ahead.
Good. Regarding questions on your assignment, the church project, I think I have an issue with one of the items there. I think item D, resources, devotional, and then
so there's a devotional. So there's a devotional functionality in there. You guys remember that, we will have that displayed. So every day there's going to be like a test, Bible test,
okay.
If you go back to
morning devotion, then
yes, if you go back to your requirement, you will see it in there. I talk about it.
Okay. And then the e-store, on clarification, you're talking about maybe the church selling some merchandise like books and stuff, right?
It's in a requirement. I talk about all these things in our church project requirement.
Cool. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, then.
Okay, guys. So be sure to turn it in again. I've been reviewing some of you. Like I said the other day, I see you guys have done well. I still keep reviewing your user stories as well. Again, I think I've said it more than I cannot even count. Right? That your stories, your agile stuff is going to take about 70%, 75% of your actual work. Right? You live in there. You'll be right there, like 75% or whatever. So I prioritize the quality of your story writing more than anything else, right? I've been reviewing some of you guys. Some of you, I'm not sure why up to this time you're still behind. If you need help, get help. Either you can ping me as I can get to it. I can do that. If not, ping some of your friends and ask questions and get the necessary help. Okay. That is all for me for now. So next week, I know next week we'll do the database stuff, stuff, and then SQL stuff, and then we're almost wrapping up. We're almost coming to an end. By the end of the month, I think we should be right there. We should be done. The rest, I will assign, like I said, I will assign you to some domain knowledge, some domain videos, some enterprise tools. I will let you guys say, go and watch, take notes, learn about this. Who knows? Maybe a project that you might work on. You might see something like that, so it's very important. All right, guys, I got to go. It's already past 8:18. Thank you. And you guys have a fruitful,